This podcast is sponsored by Happy Warrior Kava. Be a happy warrior. Drink, relax, and enjoy the strong and smooth taste of the best-selling kava in the islands. Happy Warrior Kava.
Aloha and welcome to another edition, of HNN Overtime, the Hawaii News Now Sports Podcast. I am Kyle Chinen, coming to you from the HNN Digital Center, joined as always by Cienna Pilotin, Davis Pitner. I got a little tripped up because I was about to say
so exciting.
It's the final episode of 2023.
Oh, what?
I know. And a little bit of personal history for the show. It is our 50th episode.
Yay! We did it.
We did it. We made it
Out
past.
to y'all.
We made it to 50 episodes.
That's a big deal.
It is. Thanks in part a lot to you joining
Yeah,
on.
absolutely. See.
And you were here for a majority of it, but
Yep.
we will get right into it, guys.
Guys, what the
Crazy
heck
times.
happened this week?
What a
Crazy.
Let's
crazy
just start
week.
off with that. What the
Yeah.
heck is happening?
Yeah.
All right, Brayden Schager, what are you doing to us, man? Like we're saying
even
one
think he
thing
knows.
one week, next thing another week, and this week you're coming back. Like guys, let's break it down. Brayden Schager said he's leaving, coming back
And
now.
The craziest thing of it all is the timing of it. Is
Yeah.
getting a message from Davis Pitner at like 12
saw
in the
that?
I
morning
know.
that it was confirmed that he's taking his name out of
Yeah.
the portal and staying at Hawaii.
Yeah.
But the timing was crazy. What was it? Christmas
It was Christmas going into
Eve
Christmas
Eve.
Eve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eve,
The
yeah.
eve of
It
Eve.
was the
Yeah.
Christmas Eve at like 12 a.m. I think
Yeah.
we both worked the next day.
Yeah.
And so I didn't wake up till 6 and saw it, but that was wild.
Yeah. I mean, this
Like-
is, yeah.
Crazy time.
I just
Crazy.
couldn't believe it when I saw it going around on social media. I was
is
like,
this
wait,
true?
is this for real?
Yeah.
Is he actually coming back?
Break the news at midnight.
This is like a perfect example of the world that is college football now, of people leaving, coming back, leaving again, going wherever, this, that, and the other. So, I do want to give a proper shout out to Steven Tsai, one of the OGs in the local sports media. He broke the story at like midnight
Midnight.
on
Yeah,
Saturday.
that's literally how we saw it.
And yeah, what a thing to wake up to in our messages when we woke up Sunday morning. But yes, he is took his name out of the transfer portal and is set to return to the Rainbow Warriors football program for the 2024 season. He will be a senior. He has one year of eligibility remaining, and I mean, we really did ride a roller coaster of emotions, us and the
I
fans.
think the entire
Oh my
state
gosh, the whole
did.
state, yeah.
Yeah, that was just so unreal. I mean, it's been crazy looking at social media. I don't know if you guys have also looked at some of the posts being made about Brayden, and there's so many mixed reactions.
Yeah.
A lot of people
It's
are
very
like,
mixed.
"Oh, great, he's coming back!" Like, we're so happy, and then other people are like, "Wait, Brayden, you told us that you were gonna leave, and you said
Yeah.
thanks and bye, and now you want to come back? Should we really have you back?"
Yeah.
It kind of mixed reactions
Definitely.
from people.
Yeah, and the way I was describing it to a couple of the girls in the office that don't watch sports, and that's no shade to them. They genuinely want to know and want to learn about what's going on. And
Yep.
this was a big deal Sunday morning, so we were just kind of all talking about it. And the way I described it was, it's like a breakup,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
It is.
He entered the dating pool and realized what's out there, and then got back with his ex.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's okay. We've
Sometimes
all
it's
been
okay.
there.
Yeah, it's like-
It is okay, but it's true. Like sometimes you gotta test the waters a little bit. He wanted to see what he could get.
Yep.
NIL is always a big factor. And see, I mean, Hawaii, I want him to stay, obviously, but his talents nationally, he could go other places,
Right.
for sure, bigger
He could've.
places. And it doesn't hurt to just put it out there. Now, there are, like David said, the fans that are like, hey, you basically betrayed us. Like,
No, yeah,
how dare
literally,
you?
literally.
And that's valid, too, because as a fan base, it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
But to now think, okay, now we're not going to welcome him with open arms is crazy, because he
Yeah.
is the best that we
Yeah.
got right now. And he's a vet. Like, he's
Yep.
not a young kid anymore. And so our next option, if he hadn't come back, would be a young Mike Alejado
Right,
or
right.
someone fighting for that position. And so he's the best we got. And I think I think once the season starts, Hawaii fans will be like, all right, he's
Right.
he's our guy.
Yeah.
He's
No, yeah,
back in
definitely.
the green and black.
It's like people were excited about Alejado, but they for some reason forgot or didn't want to think about the fact that he is a newcomer coming into a system that he didn't run back in high school.
Yeah.
And he's not only moving to a different system, he's moving from the high school game, which, don't get me wrong, Bishop Gorman is a good program that has a lot of success, but there's a big gap between high school and the college level.
Division I
So there
Yeah.
was going to be a little bit of a learning curve regardless of how good he is or how good he was going to be when he came in here. So I think this is honestly the best case scenario. You let
is.
Brayden finish out his one last year. He's an established vet, like Cienna said, and then you get a guy that can learn under Schager
Yeah,
with
I agree.
Alejado. And if his number gets called during the season, so be it. But you have this veteran guy. And talking about Brayden, I talked to him earlier this week after the news broke that Sunday. And, he understood the situation. He knew what was going to happen. He had to basically not beg his way, but he had to talk his way back onto the team. He had to have conversations with guys in the locker room because this not only stunned the fans and everybody, it stunned his teammates.
Yeah,
You remember
of
those
course.
tweets coming out? They were like, we're just in a meeting with
Yeah.
him. What's going
Yeah.
on? So, he had to talk his way back onto the team, talk to his teammates, talk to some coaches. They let him back on. And, just with the way things turned out, he won't be the bona fide starter going into spring ball in a couple months, but he'll have to work back to get those relationships back up, get that, for lack of a better word, trust back into the locker room. But you have them side by side.
I love it.
Alejado is graduating high school early to be a part of spring ball. So these two will both be in a black helmet come either late January, early February. And speaking of talking to Brayden, he brought back to the time when he was under a certain quarterback who was in the system for a long time, and I keep bringing him up, but Chevin Cordero,
Yep.
and how he learned as a young buck under him until his number was called. So again, best case scenario to just grow and sustain, this program.
I think this is a big question, and we were kind of discussing it beforehand, Kyle, and it really is the question of who is going to fill that Warrior spot. Do you take a guy that, Micah, who's coming into the system, he's new, but he's a max preps, nationally ranked player, lot of potential for him. He's a really, really great player. Or do you go to Brayden, who we know is a really good player,
Right.
but is kind of shaky with the fan base here right now?
Yeah.
Like, do you give it back to Brayden? Do you say, like, hey, you know what? Keep going. Or do you make him kind of earn his spot back on the team, do you think?
I mean, he's going to have to earn
Yeah,
it, yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, I know from the players' perspective, a lot of them are feeling a little betrayed right now, and rightfully so. It makes sense. But at the end of the day, for the ones that are kind of turning a cold shoulder towards Brayden and being like, you left us, go somewhere else, we'll get a new quarterback. At the end of the day, you want to do what's best for the team
Right.
and for what gives you the most wins.
Right.
And right now, that is Brayden Schager. And I can say that without even watching Michael Alejado, and that's no shade to him.
Right.
But just seeing the season that Brayden put up and knowing he has experience, he knows the coaching staff, he knows the players. I know the other guys might want to give Alejado a chance, and that's what spring ball is for, but the starter will be Brayden Schager.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think at a certain point, you can listen to the fans. Obviously, they're voicing their opinion. Hawaii fans are not timid when it comes to voicing opinions on their team. But, at the end of the day, these players, these coaches are going to have to block out the noise and put out a product that can win. And you could see from the last three out of the last 4 games, that product was with the guys that are in the locker room. And with the addition of Brayden back into the mix, all of his receiving weapons are back. And
With some new ones,
with
too.
some new ones
Yeah.
coming in. And you have a revamped running back room with some of the guys that were just brought in. So it's comes to a point where, yes, we love our fans. We will play for the state of Hawaii, but blinders on. This is a product that we can put out there and people can be proud of. I think once the first game is over with, win or lose, all this conversation will be gone.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
we'll be moving on.
Yeah, I think it also, when I heard the news that Brayden was coming back and then, of course, Micah signing, then it kind of got in my head, too, are we going to see something from 2 years ago with Yellen
Oh, yeah.
and Brayden?
Yeah.
Right? Do we see something? I know Micah's, a freshman coming into this, but, I mean, he was the top prospect. I mean, he was the guy. Do we see something similar where they mix up Brayden and Micah a little bit?
Depends how good Micah is.
Yeah.
If Micah comes in spring ball and starts lighting it up, then for sure there needs to be a quarterback controversy. But if Brayden's the clear starter, which I think the three of us think that he is, and I think a lot of the fans do too, then I think there's no reason to start any more quarterback controversy drama. It really depends on Micah's play.
Yeah. And we were talking about this, Davis, off cam earlier. He signed while Brayden was not on the team.
Yeah.
And you were asking me, like, would this have changed things? I wouldn't think so, too. I think prior to Brayden leaving, Alejandro already kind of knew the situation with a senior quarterback in there, kind of biding his time. He was committed back in April when he knew that Schager was still going to be here. So, and I talked to him too after he signed. He was committed to Hawaii no matter what. He might have taken an official visit to UNLV kind of late in the game, but he kept his commitment and he still signed with Hawaii. So that kind of shows kind of where his head was at. Obviously, he's going to work and he's going to push Brayden, but he kind of understood the scenario going into it prior to Brayden, stirring this pot.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be, honestly, for the fans and for us, it's kind of a good problem to have when you have
I think so,
much
too.
rather have this problem.
Right? An established quarterback that has proven himself for an entire season. And let's be real, Brayden Schager didn't miss a start last year.
No, he was great.
Durable.
He really had a great season.
Yeah.
I mean, he was top 10 throughout the entire season.
Right.
He was in the top 10 best quarterbacks for passing yards. Finished the year off 12th, which was a little weird. I thought he was 10th before, but
he was at one point.
He was at one point 12th, but I mean, accolades crazy. I'm just going to mention really fast. Top 5 in UH history for passing yards, and he is 7th in school history to reach 6,000 yards. I agree with you guys. Without a doubt, I say Brayden's going to be the starter. I think, like you said, this is a good problem to have, two really great quarterbacks, and the future is so bright with Micah being a Max Preps nationally ranked recruit, 3-star player.
Right.
I think this is a big upside, but I think Brayden still needs to work for it. I think he needs to earn that.
Spring ball is going to prove a lot.
Yeah, I think he needs to earn that trust back.
And I think it's good. I mean, this is kind of more of what old college football used to look like when you have your established starter and your potential quarterback of the future waiting in the wings, right? So you can have that longevity, that like continued, system of good play. So it's not just to find a guy in the portal, plug him in for a year, he's gone, find your next guy, and this like drop in and drop out type of thing. So it's a really good problem to have. And Brayden was talking to me a little bit the other day about the decision and kind of how a lot of people were kind of pulling him in different directions on what to do. And at one point he thought this was the right move for him, but once he left, he knew that it was a mistake. I want to toss to some of that sound, and let's kind of hear it from the man himself, Brayden Schager.
They've been stressful for sure, to say the least. Just a lot of people telling me what to do, thinking they know what's best for me and all, and just trying to move forward with what I want to do. And so it's been really stressful, just trying to figure out what's best for me. Been a long process, but I'm just happy to, be wrapping it up, and just all I want to do is just get back to playing football. That's all I care about. So try to get back to that.
Yeah, and when the portal opened back at the beginning of the month, you put out that post that's since been taken down, but what was that day like, and kind of what was the catalyst or the thing that made you kind of decide to at first go into the portal?
Yeah, no, I think that I think a part of me thought that was best at the time to go explore new opportunities. A lot of people can just say that they think the grass is greener and go out and look and try to find something. But right when I did that, I kind of regretted it and knew that Hawaii was where I wanted to be. And I think really just going out and seeing that was kind of a blessing in disguise. Just knowing that like this is in Hawaii is where I want to be more than anywhere else. And I think that it took me, going and doing that to really discover that. And I'm just blessed to be where I am now, and I couldn't be more excited to get the season rolling and build on what we accomplished last year.
Yeah, and I've read some of the other articles that you talked to the other guys, but talk about Hawaii and like you just mentioned, when you did take some official visits, it just wasn't what was here. Talk about Hawaii and why it's so special to you.
Yeah, I think it took that to really see how special of a place Hawaii can be and really is for me, just that family atmosphere and really just the culture we're building with the brotherhood at Hawaii. And Coach Chang's building something really special, something that I believe in and something that a lot of the players do. And it really going and seeing other programs and talking to other coaches, it really just made me see, how good I really do have it and how good we have it at Hawaii. And I really believe we're building something special.
And with early signing day coming and going last week as well, um, obviously you saw the news and who UH signed, and they brought in a new kid, the from Bishop Gorman. Um, what does that kind of do for the quarterback room? Also now adding you back into the equation, what is this offseason going to look like for all you guys? And how are you gonna kind of handle the situation that's in front of you now?
Yeah, I think, just adding talent to the room is good. It's good for the team. We want to have as much talent as we can on this team, and it's good to, build up that room and continue to make it better. I'm going to help out however I can with the younger guys and just continue to, kind of show them the ropes, help out with the plays, whatever I can to prepare them for when their time comes. I'm just going to continue to do what I do and just build upon what we did last year, get back in with the receivers, the O-line, all those guys, and just kind of build upon it. And, I mean, as much talent as we can have on offense, we need it. I mean, I think that just makes everybody better. So I'm just excited to get to work.
And you talk about the work. Obviously, you're back home in Texas right now during the holidays, but what does this off season look like now? Obviously, just going back to the last four games of the season, winning three out of the last four, you guys built some great momentum as far as the offense and the defense goes. What does this offseason look like as far as yourself and the team?
I think it's just going to be a lot of hard work. We saw what it took at the end of the year to win those games, and it's not going to be easy, but I think it's not for everybody. We got to go in there with a different mindset this offseason and kind of we got to play this offseason the same way we did those last four games, with that whole push the sled mentality and just not quitting, not giving up and doing whatever it takes to win games. And that's what I'm going to carry over. That's what I'm going to preach this offseason along with a lot of the other leaders on the team. And we're just going to go in there and do everything we can to build upon what we did and treat every game like we did those last four and try to go out and continue that success.
And I'm sure like you were saying, the last couple weeks were just anxiety filled and very stressful for yourself. But when you made the announcement that you were coming back, what were the conversations like with the guys back in the locker room, maybe with Coach Chang? You don't have to go into too much detail, but what were those conversations like when you were pulling your name out of the transfer portal and coming back to UH?
Yeah, no, I had some discussions with some receivers about it before I did, and I had talked to some coaches on the staff, and I think it's just going to be me going in there and explaining my situation to everybody, and then just getting back to work as quickly as we can. And this is just I think a small bump in the road for us, but I mean I'm just going to go in there and continue to build up those relationships that I have, and we're just going to keep working, move past this, and everybody just wants to win games at the end of the day. That's all it is on the field, and so I'm just going to do everything I can to be the best player and teammate that I can moving forward, best leader I can. And we're just going to move forward into this spring and continue to keep working.
All right, well, there you have it. Brayden Schager getting ready for next season. I'm pretty sure the entire state is ready to see this quarterback battle go on between Micah and Brayden. It's going to be a fiery competition next
here we
spring.
go.
But guys, it hasn't really been fiery lately, has it? It's been a little chilly.
Chilly.
It's been a little
has been. It
chilly
It has been
lately.
real
It's-
chilly.
Good
Especially over in Waipio for me. Kyle, you were talking a little Mililani before.
I was in Mililani for Christmas.
been a little
It was a bit cold.
It's a little cold out there.
cold.
And that brings the question, because, we all like to work out here,
Speak
right?
for yourself.
Well, yes, for those of you who like to work out, it's good to be safe when working out. And we have some tips for you guys on working
us.
out
Wow.
in the cold. So, hey, feeling cold.
Why? Oh,
So, this could be,
my goodness.
for those of you here in Hawaii who
No,
might be a
please,
little
no, please.
chilly at night and want to go for a run.
Parkour.
Or this could also be for you
Whoa.
traveling out of state into somewhere
Yeah.
cold. Here are some tips. So this is from Dr. Michael Tiso from the Ohio State
whoa,
University
whoa,
Western
whoa.
Medical Center. I had to do that because in every starting lineup in the NFL, that's how the college players say it for some reason. So carrying on, to safely exercise in the cold, our expert says to dress based on the temperature and your activity. But wearing layers is important. He says to stay away from clothes made with cotton.
Cotton.
All right.
Tisa says the material tends to trap in moisture close to the skin. Now, if it's really cold outside, like it has been lately, he says to keep extremities like fingers, which are more vulnerable to frostbite,
The fingies.
to keep them
Yeah.
covered. And before you exercise, do a short 5 to 10 minute warm up
No.
up to get blood flowing
must
to muscles. And then also watch out for sun exposure. You could get sunburn because the sun could reflect off
That
the
is
snow.
true.
That is true.
Which
Yeah.
is
You're
which is
not
very
wrong.
true.
Was that the Honolulu Marathon? No, I'm kidding.
The Ohio State.
The
Ohio
Honolulu
State.
Marathon.
So there you go. Those are some tips if you're going out of state. Of course, here in Hawaii, all you need is some sunscreen.
Sunscreen.
That is the number one.
I can't work out with too much clothes on.
Me
Really?
neither. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I used to work out in like a hoodie, but like that's still like I felt like my arms were restricted. It was a
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
In college, it would get very snowy up in Oregon.
It'd get
Oh,
really
I
snowy in
And,
Iowa.
So working out in the snow, it was a little rough.
It was
at
definitely
first. You
rough.
warm up
Yeah.
a little bit later, but definitely
me heading
that,
for my second plate
that
on
warm
Christmas
up
Day.
is
Oh my goodness.
is needed. It is much needed. So there are some tips.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're feeling cold, make sure to bundle up.
Bundle up, yes.
I'm so happy with that story.
That
All
is
right,
such
I'm
a
gonna
fun
call. I'm
story.
done for the day.
No, I like this story. It's just funny that we're talking about it here in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Because yes, I've woken up a couple of days and been like, wow, I don't want to get out of bed.
Me
like,
neither.
It is
Yeah.
cold and I just want to stay in bed. But the minute I get up and get at them, it's fine. Like, these people in, like, Chicago are
Yeah.
laughing at us right now.
I know. Like my Midwestern friends are cracking up at the sound of us being complaining about 60-degree weather.
I know. It's like 68 outside.
Yeah,
It's
like I remember back in Iowa, we'd be so used to it. To 68 would be like summertime. Like
Oh, yeah.
it's
Oh,
shorts
yeah.
and slippers
Yeah, yeah.
time.
That's a beautiful day.
It's so nice. Davis,
Yeah.
did you have the thing where if it was like a snowy, cold practice, that don't take your helmet off, otherwise
Yeah, you
your-
gotta
your-
keep it on.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
hair is gonna freeze, and then the inside padding is gonna turn rock solid because like
it was always the padding.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
the padding is what got me the most. You did not want to take it off because when you put it on, it's already kind of soft, a little cushiony in there.
Yep.
Take it off, it freezes like immediately.
Oh,
and then,
100%.
Like, it's rock solid. You get a
Yeah.
headache and yeah.
Or the first piece of the first contact you
Yeah.
get during a cold weather practice or game. Oh my goodness, it's like getting hit by a
Stings.
car.
It's so bad.
Stings.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And like, did you during a game, like during practices, I'm wearing a long sleeve thermal shirt and a hoodie.
Yeah.
With the hand warmer, and like I'm warm. But during games, we're the offensive lineman and your team are like, no sleeves, bro.
Yeah,
no
yeah.
sleeves.
That's such a football guy thing.
And it's just like
I totally had sleeves on, during practices, long layered, everything. I mean, it would rain too.
Oh,
so then you get that
yes.
cold rain.
Yes. Oh my goodness. It's the worst.
That's when all pride goes aside and you have to
That's
stay
what I'm
warm.
saying. For what?
Yeah.
Why are we being prideful here? It's cold.
I had one offensive lineman, one of my teammates. It was like our last game of the year in the end, or like the middle of November, and it's one of those games where they have to have the snowplow out on the field to clear out where the yard markers are, the yard lines are. That's the kind of snow game it was. And this man had on his jersey, pads, pants, and ankle socks. And gloves.
Ankle
gloves. Socks
socks.
Are the worst part.
The arms and legs were exposed, and I'm like, you're insane. I had the longest like thermal leggings on my legs, and I wore knee braces, and they still didn't keep me warm.
Yeah.
So like, that's insanity. I wore sleeves during games. I didn't care. I was like, I'm from Hawaii.
Absolutely.
This isn't me.
Bundle up.
Definitely bundle up. My hair would get frozen too. Like when I had
no.
long hair sticking out the helmet, it'd be nice and flowy, but like halfway through practice sometimes, like when like a piece of like frozen clothing or something, you just kind of have to get it moving.
Your hair would do that?
Oh yeah, it'd be solid, and I'd have to like wiggle it to get the ice off of it. Good times.
Good
times.
Speaking of good times.
Oh.
All right, here we go. Yep.
We are in the final days of
I know.
2023. And
Here.
I will say, it's been a great year,
It has
especially
been.
hanging out with all of you guys
Yes.
all year. You guys are the best. And speaking of the best, double transition there.
Okay.
I want to ask y'all your guys' best moment, sports moment in 2023.
All right.
Whoever wants to go first.
Davis. why don't
It's
you
me?
go?
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say one, and then there's just a little thing I wanted to mention too.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it.
I feel
So
like it's probably warrior.
the first one though is were we all at that game for UH?
Definitely.
So UH versus Colorado
Oh,
State.
yeah.
If you guys all remember, it was the last game of the season. UH was down, I believe.
They were
No, they
down.
were tied.
It was
they were
tied.
up.
It was tied.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was tied. Literally seconds left in the game. Matthew Shipley hits this game-winning
Davis.
field goal. He makes it in. Crowd goes crazy. They rush the field. I just remember being there in that atmosphere, and it was such a special moment.
That was
it's
super fun.
UH, they just have not had it. They didn't have a great season, let's be honest, this year. And to win this game, a game that I think some people were kind of sure that they were going to lose.
It knocked Colorado State out of a bowl game.
Yeah, and knocked Colorado State, and it was senior night too.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
just a special moment. I mean, what a way to finish off the game. Brayden obviously feeling it. It was just one of those plays that you're just gonna remember for the rest of your life. And Matthew Shipley, a hero that day. That is my top 2023
That is
a good
highlight right there.
It's a good one.
And-
the future Arkansas Razorback. So best
He is,
wishes,
yes.
wishes
Yeah.
to him. But yeah, man, what a
Best wishes.
That's a good one.
Yeah. that is a good
that was
one.
a good one. And I think we couldn't finish off 2023 without mentioning one more thing.
Oh, no.
And here it is.
Oh my
Not
God.
Yep.
so good one.
Guys, I don't think we can not mention Taylor
I will
Swift
say,
and all that she has
iconic.
done.
Iconic.
I will
All that
say-
she has done for the
Yes.
NFL,
Girl.
go Chiefs. But really, where's Taylor? A lot of
Girl.
Taylor Swift fans, I'm sure, watch the Chiefs games just for that.
I love it.
Just for that one shot of Taylor Swift and her reaction in the booth.
Oh my
She
goodness.
did.
Yeah. Cienna?
Yeah, I mean, okay, here's the thing. I don't Are they endgame? Sure, why not? You guys know I'm not the biggest fan of this whole plot line.
Yeah.
But in terms of how big it got, this might be the biggest like sports story of the entire
Oh,
year.
100%.
I would
Like
agree.
this blew up, and so I'm okay with it. I mean, the Chiefs aren't winning right now, so that might be a problem. But
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. The new year is almost here. They'll move on to something else.
Who
Yeah.
knows what could happen in 2024?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe we'll have a new Taylor Swift song.
We probably will.
Probably will.
And maybe someone else will start, another famous celebrity will start dating an NFL player.
Exactly. I mean, nobody gave this much attention to Russell Wilson and Ciara, but
Which that is my
Yeah.
Travis and Taylor.
I mean-
I've loved that couple
power
for
couple.
so long now, even if he's not currently
He's washed.
playing.
He's washed.
Yeah,
he's a little
Washed.
and
washed,
she
a
is
little washed.
amazing. But
She never
yeah,
goes out
we'll
of style.
just start. Well, good one. We will see a new couple next year.
Definitely.
Well, speaking of the NFL, mine
Okay.
it's definitely not as like flashy as Davis's. Davis's was a really good one. We
Okay.
were all there and we witnessed it firsthand. But mine was take it back to the summer months when there was no football on.
Ooh.
But the NFL reached or to like basically put out the quarterback. That was
such a
Oh,
good
yeah.
series.
that was
That was
such
good.
a good series. I've watched it literally like 5 times since it came out. And the Hawaii connection, which I'm getting to, is Marcus being on the show.
That was so
Marcus.
cool.
I loved seeing, obviously as a Chiefs fan, Mahomes, but like look into Marcus's life with his wife and their daughter. Daughter?
Yeah. Daughter.
Yeah,
daughter.
daughter.
Yeah.
Now was just great to me, and I think this was the first season they did it, so it was really like, what is this show gonna be like? This is kind of weird. It's happening while the NFL season's happening. How did they allow this? But just going through the different plot lines,
Right.
and yeah, getting to know Marcus more. I
That
think
was
that's
super
what
cool.
everyone
Yeah.
wanted, and even like, I know people don't really like Brittany Mahomes much, but it also gave a look into their life, and I think people started liking her more because of it. It just like was a look into their house, and so that was my sports moment of the year. If I could
That's a
go
good
back
one.
That's a good one.
and watch it for the
time.
first time, I would do it like every day.
It was a really
it was
good
so
show.
Good.
I will say I started the series definitely on the anti-Britney campaign, and by the end of it, I'm like, I kind of like Britney.
Yeah.
She's super sweet.
It
She's
is.
just a ride or die.
It's just
Yeah.
you take out all the cameras, which
Right.
ironically enough, you're watching it through the cameras,
Right.
But you take out all the TikToks and the Instagram posts, and you just see their raw family, and that's them, and it's hard not to like them.
I like
Yeah.
how they picked Marcus too, because I
Me
mean,
too.
obviously you get Patrick. He's
Yeah.
the quarterback. He's the shining star of the NFL. You get Marcus, who's had a kind of a rough career.
Yeah.
Really, he's not one of the starter quarterbacks. Obviously, backup for the Eagles.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really cool to kind of go into his life and
Yeah.
get another side of him.
I just liked
It's
how
interesting.
I mean this show was produced by Peyton Manning and his Omaha Productions, and he did a really good job of picking 3 quarterbacks in very different parts of their career.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I think that's what made it also, just from a football like enjoyer like we all are,
Yeah.
that kind of standpoint, to see someone who made it and won the Super Bowl to someone who lost their starting job, and to a guy like Kirk Cousins who just a vet,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I mean, hey, Team Julie Cousins. I think
I'm not Team Julie Cousins. At all.
I love the Cousins. They're a great family. They're super sweet. Like everybody on that show, nobody on that show came out looking worse.
Oh no, yeah, it was a great show, great
Everyone got
production
better.
overall, and I can't wait for the next season. I don't know who will be on it, but
I
Lots of
hope they
options.
have a season 2, because remember like
well,
during the summer they
I
were
saw
like,
that there's like someone signed on to it, so they're for sure having a season 2. I just don't know who's gonna be part of it.
yeah, I just remember the reports of like, oh, Josh Allen doesn't want to do it,
Oh,
or
yeah, that's
Joe
Oh, yeah,
Burrow doesn't
a lot
want
of
to do it.
people
Like,
don't
a
wanna
lot of
do
people
it.
didn't want to do it, but like maybe it's all smoke and mirrors, and Peyton's just playing coy. Like
Could be.
he's like, I don't know.
Could
And
be a
then-
Peyton move.
And
Ooh,
then-
I would love to see Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts would be a
you are
good one.
watching,
If you're
I would love for you to be part of the quarterback.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
good.
That's actually a question. Like, if you were to
And
pick
then
your
the female viewership
Oh.
would skyrocket.
Oh, yeah.
skyrocket, 100%. I mean, Cienna. So you mentioned Jay Hurts. What other 2 quarterbacks would you want on the show?
Well, if we're talking just interesting, I think honestly Brock Purdy would be kind of interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
That'd be an interesting one.
You're taking someone who's like people were making fun of, Mr. Relevant, to like success and part of a team that very well could go to the Super Bowl and win it. So I think that's interesting. But I mean, there's so many. I would love to see Lamar.
I
would love to see Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert would be really interesting. I'm also like Kyler Murray. Like I don't think there's a quarterback you could give me that I'd be disappointed at.
That's
honestly.
true.
I agree.
Jared Goff. Like I would love them all.
That was good. I was literally going to say Brock Purdy also.
Yeah.
I want to
Purdy's a
learn more of
good
the
choice.
story of Mr. Irrelevant and how he took this team to now a fantastic team, a Super Bowl contender. So
Yeah, definitely.
I want it. Want it all.
we'll see if we can get it. Kyle.
Yes, I will have to go with kind of an emotional one. The Lahaina Luna football team starting their season back in after the August wildfires. I had kind of been following that team since August 8th when everything kind of happened. I sports was kind of secondary just in general here, so I didn't really. We kind of missed the start of the football season, missed the start of certain things. But, I always kind of kept tabs on Lahaina Luna because they were the school that was most affected by all of this. So I had been, keeping in contact with the coaches out there, keeping in contact with the athletic directors and just kind of seeing what was up and just seeing the progression from them, in meetings. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. How are we going to do this to, okay, they'll play. What's going to happen? Going to their first practice when they had to practice in Kihei. By their temporary campus to playing at War Memorial when they opened the season. Man, that was honestly, I still get chicken skin thinking about it. It was crazy. It was a crazy environment. And, they had a great season altogether. They went undefeated in the MIL and they just lost in their state quarterfinal game, and they just lost in the States. So I want to give my shout out to Lahaina Luna and not just Lahaina Luna football, but Lahaina Luna athletics in general for making that happen. And man, what a crazy ride. That was my top moment of 2023.
That was a good one. I mean, such an emotional roller coaster over there, and you did some fantastic stories from over there.
Oh my gosh, that live shot with you and Chelsea Davis, who is amazing, and this year worked so hard. That was probably one of the best, as not even working at this station, just watching. Oh my gosh, it just brought tears to my eyes.
Oh, absolutely.
I love Chelsea to death, and she, like you said, is the hardest worker I've ever met. And just being there with her was special, and being there in person was crazy. But that was my top moment of 2023.
A good one.
All right, good ones, guys.
Since this is our 50th episode, it's been a long journey. I've kind of joined in halfway through, but we've made some great memories together. You guys are just a great team to work with. So why don't we talk a little bit about our favorite HNN Overtime moment?
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Davis.
Start with me again?
Would you like to start, Davis?
Well,
this is your baby, technically.
It's my big. Whoa, hey, no, we worked on this together.
We did, but
no, I think a lot of favorite moments. I think definitely all those moments kind of started when you joined Cienna. I think the three of us pair up really, really well.
Yeah.
Yep.
And have made this podcast really grow. I'm going to go way back, kind of when we first started. I'm heading over to UCLA with Kyle Chinen, this moment over there. I just remember we decided we were out there for a live shot. We decided to record a podcast episode out there in the cold. That was a lot of fun.
That was a fun trip.
That was a very fun trip. Doing some episodes out there alongside other things. Had to show off Kyle. I'm going to keep talking until this next shot coming up.
What is it?
There he is.
Hey,
there he is.
No.
Yeah, so little backstory really fast. Kyle was trying to ride this scooter and it did not turn out well.
No,
What were you guys doing up there?
we were honestly on a break. We had we'd gone to practice. We had turned in our assignments for the show, and we were like, oh, let's go to Chipotle. I'm like, I am so down for Chipotle.
So good.
Yeah.
And so we're like at our Airbnb, that scooter was just out in the lawn. And I'm like, oh, let me just ride it up and down the little thing. Turns out my Crocs, not the best traction.
Not in sports mode, that's why.
On that surface. And I tried to stop with the back heel of my Croc, completely slid through, and I landed flat on my butt. And I think I whacked my elbow because I was like clutching that thing the whole time. And it just so happened that Davis was taking a video of me.
You two are crazy together. I swear.
It was so good.
That was a fun trip because, and then remember we did the podcast in the airport.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was in I don't know if that turned out exactly well.
No, I mean.
What? I don't remember.
We
in the airport?
Yeah,
in the airport. You could hear in the background.
The speaker.
Like flight 612 to Sacramento.
Yeah,
is
actually literally that.
Yeah, exactly.
Final boarding call.
We learned our lesson from our previous work trip to Vegas where we were sprinting to our gate in the Harry Reid Airport. So when we got to LAX, we got there super early and we had so much time. We got like breakfast, coffee, and we got to the terminal and like we had all of our camera gear because we had to carry it all on. So we were like, let's just record an audio podcast real quick. And we were doing that. Truth be told, I was masked up because I did have COVID.
Yeah.
I got COVID on that trip. So that was me fighting through. I didn't sound the best, but that was definitely a memorable trip for sure. And I want to say, Cienna, you mentioned in the begining that you joined in halfway, but you are just as much a part of the history of this show.
Absolutely.
And you make it what it is.
Thank you guys.
So I will turn to you.
I mean, one of my favorite moments was just not a couple episodes ago, but earlier this summer when we went on the road.
On the road.
That was
on the
a fun
road.
time.
That was definitely fun.
Obviously, you guys, as viewers, saw us doing our episode out there in Kapolei at Kapolei High School in front of all those kids, and they were there to see Ronnie Lott. And so that was a great moment for the kids, and obviously to have the three of us out there. You guys saw it. What you didn't see is the fun singing in the car, getting gas super last minute because apparently Kyle said we were almost out of gas.
HNN 7 runs to the limit.
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
So that was what you guys didn't see, but that was one of my favorite memories. Just hanging out with you guys. And
Nice.
going out to Kapolei, listening
To
to
the
some
second
jams.
city.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That kind of brings me back to, honestly, like one of the first times you were like, this show would be really good with Cienna as a permanent host. Back in Vegas when we would literally just be in your car listening to jams, going to the different shoots during that Vegas
really
trip.
fun.
Like, this is just such a great group to work with. Really quickly, my favorite memory or moment has got to be honorable mention, us making like 3 test episodes for our former news director Scott Humbert to go over and getting all the notes before actual first episode. So technically this is like episode 54.
I think so. Yeah, that's true. I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
But I will say my Virginia trip and being able to make it work to have you guys in the studio, me
Zoom.
on the little couch in my hotel room, that was super fun.
That was a good one.
And then I'd say just working with you guys is my favorite part of this, and my favorite memories are always just with you guys. And obviously that trip, we made it work to where we were all together, despite me being on the East Coast. So super fun, and man, I can't wait for the next 50, guys.
Yes.
The next 50. Let's do it. Let's do it. Thank
And
you guys all for joining us
Yes.
along this ride, and for sticking with us
Yes.
and
Yes.
bearing with all of our cheesy transitions.
It's just a staple.
Yeah, especially recently with the sphere. You'll understand all that if you watch a couple episodes ago. Anyways, guys, thank you for an awesome 2023.
Yeah.
Kyle, end it, dude.
End it properly.
End it
Yeah.
properly,
And
the way we started.
The only way thank you so much for listening or watching 50 of these episodes. To check out any of the episodes or this episode, you can hit the Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get the rest of our HNN podcast. And be sure to watch the video version on our YouTube channel. Be sure to follow our Instagram, HNN Overtime, no spaces. For Cienna, Pilotin, Davis, Pitner, I'm Kyle Chinen. Happy New Year's. Aloha.
This podcast is sponsored by Happy Warrior Kava. Be a happy warrior. Drink, relax, and enjoy the strong and smooth taste of the best-selling kava in the islands. Happy Warrior Kava.